What's happening? It's Green Thumb. It's September 10th, I think, 2023. It's a Sunday. We've been at the garden all weekend harvesting. My entire kitchen floor is covered in totes of food. Um, Tonight we're working on processing down green onions. And my favorite way to process them is to chop all the bad bits off and run them through the dehydrator. So I'll show you the monstrous pile of green onions I got to do, and we'll just kind of rip through this real fast. So there's the green onions, and yeah, there really is as much as it looks. There's 150 of them in there, and I got to process all these down tonight. So, show you what we're doing here. That's essentially what we're looking for. We cut all the bad bits off, cut the root off, get it right down to, oh, come on, camera. There we go. Cut it down to a nice white tip. We're going to throw them in a bowl after they're all processed down in the bowl, because there'll be probably half as much in the bowl by the time we're done, because we're cutting off about a third of the plant. Then we're going to wash them. We're going to chop them up. We're going to fire them in the dehydrator. Wow, I can barely speak, guys. It's been a long weekend. You want to see my floor? All right, look at that. Green onions. Huge tub of peppers. That's like 20 pounds of peppers. We've got paprika peppers, some jalapenos, and a couple of random tomatoes in there because we cleaned out all the tomato plants today. We're tearing them down. Carrots. Cucamelons. Okay, those are cucamelons. They taste like a cross between a lime and a cucumber. Golden zucchini. Those are going to get dehydrated. Rainbow carrots. Romas. More carrots. Each one of these tubs of carrots weighs about 40 pounds. And then cherry tomatoes. And I've also processed down a whole ton of cilantro today. So, this is what we're working on. So here's the process. Grab an onion. Yep, that really is as big as it is. Look at how thick it is. It's like just like my thumb. Come around here. Throw it on the cutting board. By the way, make a big mess on your floor. That's part of the process. All the roots have dirt on them still, right? So get ready to get messy. All right, I got to set my tripod up. Okay. Hold a minute. First step, there's always this outer skin, okay? So if you just try to peel it off quick, it usually shreds and you have to fight with it. So grab your last bottom leaf, okay? Pull it back, and if you pull it back nice and slow, sometimes the whole thing will peel off just like a sock will. So bring it all down to the bottom. This one didn't do that, so we just fight with it a little bit. Throw this stuff in the yuck bucket. Always keep a bucket right beside your workstation. So that way you can just move this material right in there. Cut the end off, throw that bit away. And if there's any, see there's that last little bit, right? Peel that off, just like that, into the bucket. And then look at your leaves. See if there's any that are damaged. Let's get that in a better frame. See if there's any damaged. I don't even want that. Into the bucket. Come up, check your tips. If the tips look like crap, break them off. This green onion, before I cut it, was almost 3 feet long, right? And even after I peeled it, it's still almost as big as my thumb. And then into the bowl. So this is the plan right now. So reach down, grab another one, knock the dirt off, like I said. So take that first one, didn't work. Grab the second one. See, it's peeling off like I said. Okay. Peel it right down to the bottom. If you work slower on this part, like this, if you work slower here, you will save time because you're not going to have to fight to cut all that paper off. Then come back up, check for nasty bits. I just break those off in my hand. Trash. Oh, hit the tripod, then this in the bucket. So I'm just going to keep working my way through. So once you have a suitable amount, you fire them in the sink. But just remember, you've broken the ends off here, right? So these are going to collect water. So keep all the ends together, so that way once you wash them, turn them upside down and give them a good shake, because you don't want water collecting in these, or that's going to get all over your countertops. So I'm just going to give them a quick rinse. Get any of the bits of dirt off. I mean, they were sitting in a tub here full of dirt, right? So just going to give them a quick rinse. Like that. Grab them all by the white ends. Move that out of the way. We're just going to let them drain. Shake them a few times, get all that water out of there. And remember, you're putting these in the dehydrator, right? So you don't want water sitting on them. All right, I'm going to just bring these over. And I just threw them right back in the bowl. And now you got to wash your cutting board, because you're going to have sand all over it from when you were cutting them up the first time. Right, so what I do is, this fat white end here takes a lot longer to dehydrate than this, because this is hollow. That's just one layer, right? So what I do with these fat ends is I just give them a slice. You don't always have to cut them into two, right? And then I just leave them, give or take, 2 inches long, because if you cut them up nice and short, what ends up happening is they fall through all the little gaps in your dehydrator. And this is where you're going to need a second bowl. So here's the ones we washed. Here's the second bowl. So we're just pulling them out of there, cut them up, put them into there. So little slice right through. And this allows them to dehydrate way faster. See? So now you just work through the rest of your bowl that way. All right, so once you got enough in a bowl that you think is going to fill your dehydrator, get your dehydrator set up like that. There we go. And then just start laying them out. So you can always just lay them out till you think is about suitable. Oh, break that up. So lay them out till you get to roughly, what you think is suitable. We're doing 5 trays, so we're not going to overload them. Just going to spread them out like that. Next one on. And if by the time you get all 5 trays on, if you still have some left, all you have to do is lift up the trays and sprinkle a couple more on each level, right? It's no big deal. It's just dehydrating. This isn't rocket science. And with these circular dehydrator trays, let's lift that up a little more. There we go. With these circular dehydrator trays, you're going to want to rotate them anyways, because all the heat's at the bottom. And so the trays at the bottom always work faster than the ones at the top. So I'm going to fire this up right before I go to bed. I'll come over and I'll put the top trays back onto the bottom. And then when I get up in the morning, I'll rotate them again. And we'll just keep going until they're all done. One, two, three, 4. So I've got a fair amount left in the bowl, like I said, so we're just going to go a little heavier on this one. And then heavier on the top one. And then I'll just pick those other trays up and spread some more around. We're probably looking at, give or take, 18 hours to complete these anyways. So, but you got to make sure you lay them down flat enough that the trays will sit flat. See, this big fat one doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. There. Let's load the top tray up. Got a couple sitting in the middle. Looks like we're going to have to lift the whole thing up anyways. A couple fell right down the center. They are nice looking green onions though. They're huge. And this is just a fraction. So you guys saw what's in the bowl. Okay. And you saw what was initially in that tote on the ground. So let's lift these two up. Another handful into here. Like that. So you guys, sorry, I'm paused there mid-thought. So you guys saw what we initially started with in the tote. Wait till I show you how much we still have left in there. I could probably fill up 5 of these dehydrators with what we got. I barely put a dent in it. Come on, get out of there. So you don't really want to overload your dehydrators, like I was saying, but because these are just green onions, I'm really not that concerned about it. And I'm going to run it all night tonight anyways, when I go to bed. So hydro's cheap during the night. And I have all day tomorrow to just mess around with it. All right, so there's our 5 trays. Like that. Stack them up. Put your lid on. Like that. And then, okay, you want to run it at 135 degrees. The dial doesn't look like it's at 135 just because of the angle I'm filming at, but we're at 135. Flick them on and just let them rock and roll until tomorrow. So like I said, this will probably take, give or take, about 18 hours because of the really big ends. Now you could, if you were super organized and you didn't have a lot to do, you could always cut the green tops off, dehydrate those separately, and then have a whole other run of the bottoms with the whites. If you really wanted to do that, I'm not going to bother. And here, I'll show you what we have left. Look at that. We still have all that to do. And there is a lot. So, and now you get to clean up the floor, because with any good project, you're always making a good mess. So I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys the final product when it's done. And yeah. So it already smells fantastic in here. All right, guys. Good night. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 24 hours. That's how long it took to finish these up. Mostly because we've got some big ends. So here, listen. You hear that? That's what you want. You want it crumbly. Okay? So now that they're done, this is kind of where it gets a little interesting, because it generally doesn't clean up out of the dehydrator tray very nicely. They just fall down. So all I'm going to do is, I've got a clean quart jar. So I just turned the dehydrator off. They're still warm. And I want to get them into the jar while they're still warm. and get a lid on this jar before they start sucking up moisture back in the air again. So. And I'm probably going to need more than 1 quart jar. I'm going to go out, I'm going to go to Canadian Tire, and I'm going to pick up a couple of those nice glass 1 gallon jars for projects like these. Because I really don't want, 10 of these in my pantry. See, here's another big one, okay? So this is why we cut it, right? See how it's all dry? That's what we want. So that's why we cut them open. So I'm just gonna stuff all these jars, and I'll show you the final product. I've emptied the whole dehydrator, and that's just 1 run. 2 quart jars, and I've packed them down, right? See? So these are awesome. You can put them in soups and stews and spaghetti sauces and all kinds of stuff. And if you want them softened up again, let's say you want to make fried rice or put these in omelets or scrambled eggs or whatever, just take out whatever you want to use, put them in a little bowl of water, rehydrate them for 10 or 15 minutes, and they'll soak that water right up, and then they're good to go. So there we go. 1 dehydrator full, and probably about 4 more dehydrators worth to go before I'm done the green onions. So that's it for this video. I know you guys are going to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because we're going to be doing all kinds of videos like this. I have an entire kitchen full of food that I'm about to put away. I have a sink behind me with a bunch of carrots soaking in it. So we're going to do some canned carrots next. So you need to follow along. You need to hit that thumbs up button, because that really makes a difference. Leave me a comment, smash that subscribe button, notification bell. You know what you're talking about. Have an awesome day, and preserve your food. Put it away. Don't be reliant on the grocery store. Be a revolutionary. All right, guys. See ya.